You know, the first thing I want to tell you, as far as tube sets go, this is probably the best. Just overall, the gears, the fact that it's from a bomber in World War II, and it does a lot of the shortwave bands. It does part of the AM broadcast band, but getting it working after someone's touched it has really made it bad. Now, this is what we'll call this strip here a module, and what it is, it's a Bakelite board with terminals on it, and the capacitors you have to change are on here. Now, for some reason, this one's been pulled up in the air. God only knows why, but you have to change those capacitors. But if you have to troubleshoot it, it becomes an all amazing trip. Now, the wire right here, I think it's in the frame. This is the red wire that's got some type of path to ground that's lower than 100,000 ohms. It's 1,000 ohms. So we're in the area of the Mr. Bodged, the guy that had this. And here's the first thing you'll see. All right, let me make sure. It's nice terminals. Here's the wire. Let's see. It's a red wire. Yeah. Here's the red wire. Comes from the top, goes behind the board, comes underneath, and goes to 22. Then it goes further down to the IF, the fourth IF that he took out. So somewhere in there is a mistake. No, not necessarily. You start following it, and you're like, there's other wires hooked down in here. All right, and you're like, what the hell? I must have the wrong schematic. So you keep going through it, digging and looking, and everyone has the same thing. Well, here's the trick. They only put some of the wires on the schematic. Here's the rest of it. These are buses, they call. They're what they are is they're tubing with thick single-strand wire going through it. And I don't know where the wire that I have to troubleshoot. In other words, the wire that I have to follow comes down and hits one of these buses, and then it goes all along here, and it has more terminals. So you basically you can play sink to ship. In other words, you find out where it comes down, and you cut this. You cut it here, and then if the trouble is either that way or the trouble is this way. But as I'm underneath, I can't find which way to go because everything seems to be hooked to the B plus, which it should be. But I kept looking at this schematic, or this pictorial. It's not a schematic, it's a pictorial. And I'm saying, that looks so simple. Why am I having so much trouble? See, this is the thing. How many of these radios I've worked on, and I didn't realize that besides these parts being on this board, there's also jumpers that they keep separate on a different drawing. So you're troubleshooting one thing, but really what they did was they, instead of putting all the jumper wires on the first pictorial, on this one, they decide to make the jumpers part of the parts that go on that board. See, if you look at this terminal board here, you'll see all kinds of resistors on it and capacitors, but that's what it looks like on the pictorial. There's no resistors or capacitors. But then you look at this as a part, a drop-in part. The girl drops it in. It's all wired up, just like this. She drops it in. And then there's a wiring harness that hooks up to it. So this thing's made to be production really fast back in the old days, before circuit boards. All right. So in other words, there's where I'm at now. I know this wire here is the culprit. It goes down here, it branches out. So what you do is you go down below and you find the buses and you cut it in half. And the trouble is either this way or the trouble is that way. And it'll be something stupid where he put a wire in the wrong place, and or he put a wire that's too long and he wrapped it around and the piece that's he didn't cut off is touching something. That's what I've been finding on this radio. And it's really hard working down in here. I cut some of his parts away hoping maybe he put something in backwards and it didn't work. So that's where I'm at. That's tomorrow. Tonight I'm going to try not to think about this anymore because I finally realized that this was my problem. After about a half hour I said, you know, I must have the wrong schematics. So I start going through I have several sets of schematics and pictorials, and I'm like, this can't be that radical. And I can't, and I'm looking at these jumpers, I'm saying, or these buses, I said, there's no way that guy solders that good. So I said, you know what? I think I remember a picture pictorial in the booklet, and sure enough, I went looking, there it is. So that's what you're going to be up against. And if you really love radios and you got really good at them, this is the radio to get. And I told you they're real crap on eBay, and it's possible to get a really good one that the outer cover's just got a bunch of holes in it. But it's, you know, with the pictures they take, they're very sneaky the way they take the pictures. But this is the creme de la creme radio. Even the Philco radio, 36 650X that I had when I was in high school, that was easier to troubleshoot than this. This is made to be smaller. It's made to be quick production in World War II. Not that the Philcos weren't made to be made fast, but not as fast as these things. And these are made by 5 different companies. They're all slightly different. Well, the other thing too is the wires are faded white, like this one here. Let's see if this is in the frame. This has a red or orange stripe on it. You cannot tell the difference between orange and red now. I think there might be a purple. All the colors over the years have faded, so that's not. Now this one's blue. It's sort of blue yet. And this is the stuff that, you know, why is this loose in the radio? You know, how come? You know, and that's all you do. Oh, and I found down below here 3 wires that have been cut short that he cut. But that didn't help me with the problem. I won't say ever short. One of the B plus wires is probably on the wrong terminal, which goes through a resistor to ground. And instead of it being in the right spot and the B plus resistance being like 100K, it's 1K. And I'll find it, but it's not going to be tonight. I'm shutting off for now, man. I put so many hours in on this every day, and all I'm doing is unbodging somebody's work. And that's what I did where I worked. I was always the guy, the boss would go over here, go over and help that guy out. I go over and help him, and the guy's standing over you, telling you you don't know what you're doing. And none of his stuff works. And he's standing over you, and then as you fix each board, he gets mad, and he goes and sits down and he pouts. Okay? And that's what I did. I had people that really hated me at work. And well, anyway, that's just one of the reasons they hated me. And I was really gung-ho when I repaired. I was really into it. And this radio here, at this point, it's not worth it. I should set it on fire or blow it up like Shango does with stuff. But Shango usually gets the thing working. And now while it's working, he has fireworks in it that go off. And it's amazing how many of his television sets keep playing, even though the fireworks are going off inside of it. It's pretty cool stuff. Well, anyway, I'm still on this, and this is for people that really want to get into repair. And this radio is not made to be repaired. It was made to be produced, put on the aircraft. When it fails, you pull it down, you test the tubes, you do a few things, and when you can't find it, you put it off on the side because you're never going to fix it. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone doesn't have one that was new in the box that might have wires in the wrong places. But this is going to be a wire in the wrong place. It could be a bad component yet. It could be a capacitor that's really gone leaky. But I measured that. I told you it's about 100K between minus and plus. And remember, the minus is like 60 ohms or 30 ohms off ground. It's not at ground level. And if you do put it at ground level, the audio will be distorted. I think that's it. All right, that's it.